Hey, so today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about a case for year-round homeschooling. Now, if you're not currently a year-round homeschooler, or it just doesn't work with your homeschool, it's not anything that is like straight hard, like, hey, this is what we have to do. But this is one of the beautiful things about homeschool. You get to kind of mold it to what works, and we're going to talk about it. So come along and let's chat. Hi, my name's Amanda from Learning to Love Well, and this is a channel about all things homeschool from a biblical perspective. So today, sorry, I can't see what I'm doing, but it's because there's a glare in my glasses. So I'm doing this blind, guys. I should put in my contacts, but that's neither here nor there. Today we're going to talk about a case for year-around homeschool. And now, if you are doing the normals, complete summers off, and that works for you, that's great. This is definitely way more of a topic amongst homeschoolers, among Christian homeschoolers, about what works for our family and see if it works for yours. So we started year-round homeschooling with the
Okay, so editing Amanda here. I was just looking through the video, and one thing I said sounds a little bit misleading. We didn't start with the 6 weeks on, 1 week off, but we did implement that later on, and we've used that method. But I think we've always kind of done a year-round homeschool. We always have. Because I was sitting here talking to my husband, I'm like, I don't really remember. But, okay. So that disclaimer is being entered into the video.
idea of taking a 7th week off. So what we started implementing was 6 weeks we would be on and 1 week off. Although we haven't held to that model because life, right? Things change, people get sick, things have to get moved. So this year we did not do that. However, we have gone straight through the year, and as we've needed a break, we've taken it. So this week, my children are off because they just finished testing last week, and what better way of kind of giving that time off from SAT 10s to just take the week off. And it has been a nice little thing for me because this is the week that I can get some meal prep done and get a couple of things put away in the freezer for busy homeschool days. So a case for year-round homeschooling. Now I did look up a couple statistics. There's no really good data out there as far as what I can find, because most of the time when they do these statistical analysis, they're doing it on schools, or they're doing it on like public education systems or private education systems. I don't see a lot of homeschool studies. Now, if you find one and I've missed it, please link it down below so I can go look at it, so I can make sure to give the most honest and accurate facts on this channel, because I want to do that. But that I found was that teachers in a public school setting or a private school setting felt like they got a little bit more refreshed because there was frequent breaks. Now, I can attest to that in my homeschool. I think one of the things that when we year-round homeschool is that if we have more frequent breaks, or we can take a break when things get crazy, or say I have cousins coming down in October and we have cousins coming down in August, and they'll both be here for a week, we are taking those weeks off. So things like that are great and wonderful ways that you can take it off. Now, obviously in my state, I have to go 9 consecutive months. Well, considering we go 12 consecutive months, we have the opportunity to fulfill that requirement and have flexibility for when we need to take flexibility. So with that being said, we don't have a standard schedule like, I have to take off June, July, and August. We definitely have more of a flexible schedule. So I'm like, okay, we're going to give a week off for Christmas. We're going to give a week off here when this set of cousins come down. Flexibility gives me the time that we need to refresh. Also, the other thing that I really appreciate is that if my kids have been working really hard and I have been working really hard, and we just need a mommy time to sit down and get all of more things done to make things go smoother, I could call a week off and say, hey, we need just the week to kind of retrain, get everything together, get our house back in order. And when we moved and things like that, we were able to take time off, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. There's a lot more freedom in the year-round homeschool. Another thing that I saw, which I was actually a negative towards year-round schooling, was that they said that kids tend to increase their BMI or their body mass index during the time that they are in school. Now, this might be true for traditional school, but we do not traditionally school our children. So even though our kids do homeschool and they do have all the subjects and they have to cover all the subjects, my children stay pretty active during the school year as well as during the time that we're off. So for us, it's not really a big deal because they have, their extracurricular they go to. They're constantly riding bikes, skateboards, playing outside, helping with the garden work, all of those things. So really for us, it's not that big of a deal. I haven't seen an increase or decrease in weight. So that hasn't really happened for our homeschool. Now, if you have children who are normally very physically active and then during your school months you're sitting down for 8 hours at a desk, I could see how that would play in, which would make sense why there was that public school statistic. And I can link these down below, by the way, for anything that I talk about in the video so that you can look through the data and make the decision yourself. Another reason why I like to school during the summer months is because really for us, we live in a southern climate. And so during the summer months, it's hot. It's super hot here. And my kids don't really necessarily get a lot of time outside during the peak moments of those hot days. So for me, I would rather give them maybe a week off in the spring or the fall when they can really enjoy the temperature outside and they can play and they can enjoy it and they can go play soccer or they can go to a playground. But really in the heat of summer, it's not really super important for my kids to be out all day long in the heat of summer where, here in the South, heat stroke's a thing. Dehydration is a thing. So yeah, and instead of them sitting around playing video games or, doing whatever they would do inside during that time, for us, just continuing with school gives them something to do. It keeps them preoccupied. It keeps them on task. And on top of that, it gives us the opportunity to take the time off that would typically be a nicer time for them to have that outside time and that outside play. So another thing is the summer learning loss. Now, I just did a video about this and statistically what came across. There was a discrepancy between whether you have a higher income or a lower income and how that worked on summer loss or summer learning loss. I don't want my children's skills to regress. I would rather give them time off to kind of have like a vacation kind of break, just to give their brain a break, but not really give them mass amounts of time so that they regress in any of their subjects. I'm really not interested in going back and teaching the same thing over and over and over just because they haven't done it in a long time, or maybe they get out of the habit of homeschool. I find that the flows of our house are easy to maintain if we keep the flow going. Obviously, there's a transition period in and out of breaks, but I do find that it's a little bit easier when we aren't taking huge gaps of time off and my children and I can kind of just stay in the flow. And plus the frequent breaks that I do get, I can enjoy by, like I said, going and meal prepping or putting stuff in the freezer. Just anything that I can do to make myself have a little bit of a leg up when we do start back homeschool again. So, another thing that I really enjoy about year-round homeschooling, for me anyway, is, like I said, the fact that I have those times that I can catch up. So, for example, this week we're off. We're only off for a week and then we're going to head back in. It's not enough time for my kids to regress in any subjects, but it is enough time for me to regroup. A week off for me gives me the chance to, one, regroup, get things meal prepped, get things in the freezer, get my house clean, scrub some walls, get all the tasks that need to get done that maybe need some mom attention. And maybe it'll take longer in your household. Maybe you need a week and a half. Maybe you need 2 weeks. But it allows you to kind of regroup and refocus more than just one time a year and have it all concentrated. It kind of gives me that space to not burn out as easy. Because if I need the break, we can take the break. If my kids need the break, we can take the break. If we have really exciting things coming up, we can take a break. Whereas if you have such a strict summer break, if you are under like the legal requirements like we are in our state, you don't have that flexibility. If you took all the summer months off and then you only have maybe like 2 or 3 weeks that you can give off total for like the next 9 months, that's not a really good break time. Something could happen, or you could realize like, hey, I really need to spring clean my house, or any number, insert reason here. You have the flexibility to just say, okay, I have the time where I'm still being compliant with my state, but I have the opportunity to just put it down and pick it right back up again so that I'm recentered, I'm refocused, I have the time I need to breathe and recharge and refuel and get my mind right. Also, it's a really good time when you take frequent breaks to kind of have those perspective meetings, like where if a child's struggling, you can take the time to order what you need manipulative wise, or, go through their stuff and kind of evaluate what we're looking at. Or, if you're looking over test results, this is a great time to kind of analyze like, hey, what came back? What do we need to work on? How can I implement this? And have a prayerful discussion about the next things and the next steps in your homeschool. Like I said, there are downsides to it. Obviously, everything is a pros and cons, but for our family, the pros way outweigh the cons of going year round. And I hope you'll give it a consideration. Again, if it works for you to take entire summer off, praise God. If it doesn't and you want to implement more frequent breaks throughout the year, rather than just going long and hard through the year and then stopping for one giant break, praise God. Like either way, with however it works, and it works for your family, I hope this gives you an idea, because I don't think I would have even thought so much about it. We're not in public school. We don't have to have like teacher summers off. I hope this helps. I hope it teaches you some of the freedom that you can have in homeschool with your scheduling. And even if you don't do home year round, maybe you look at how much time you want to take during the summer. Or maybe you don't want to take a summer at all and you want to do what we do. Or maybe you want to split it half and half and kind of space out more frequent breaks throughout your year. However you choose to do it, I pray that you do it prayerfully and that we do it all unto the Lord for His glory. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day, and God bless.